Again, if we wanted to extend this to a parallelogram, which again, rectangles and squares are parallelograms, but more basic for all parallelograms, what do? You simply add the four sides. So is this something I think you need to memorize? Well, not really. I mean, hopefully you just add the four sides. You add all the sides together, regardless of the shape. Okay, so let's get to some examples here. Let's get to example 1. So what does example 1 say? It says you want to trim a rectangular frame with a metal strip. So if I want to trim it, I'm doing the outside, so I should be thinking perimeter. So it says the frame measures 30 inches by 20 inches. Find the length of the metal strip you wish to trim the frame. Well, okay, so I want to point out some things here. We just got done with a section where it says if you use a formula, you write the formula. You must identify your variables. So let me write this all again together. Step 1, you need to identify the variables. Step 2 is you need to write the formula. Step 3 is plug in the numbers and evaluate. Step 4 would be label answer and check for reasonableness. Reasonableness, okay? So those are our 4 steps. We always identify the variables, we write the formula, we plug in the answers, and we evaluate it. If you want, you could also draw a picture as well. Pictures help me a lot. So for instance, this is a rectangular frame. I'm thinking about a rectangle here. I know the frame measures 30 inches by 20 inches. Great, okay? And they're wanting to find the trim of the rectangle. So I know that I'm looking for the perimeter. I'm going to put P and then I'm going to put rect right there, meaning the perimeter of a rectangle. So I know the formula for the perimeter of a rectangle is 2L plus 2W. So I've written the formula, but I have not identified the variables. So I'm going to come in here, 30 inches, that's my length, 20 inches, that's my width. Now I've identified the variables, I've written in the formula. So to find the perimeter, I just need to plug in the numbers, which is step 3. So this would be 2 times the length, which is 30, plus 2 times the width, which is 20. When I plug that into my calculator, go ahead and see what you get. I'm getting a total of 100. But it says we need to label our answer. 100 what? Well, this was measured in inches, so I know that my answer for perimeter has to be in terms of inches. Okay, so let's just note something here at the top of the page. I want to make sure you guys understand this. Anytime you see the word perimeter or know that they're asking for the perimeter, they're asking for the length of the outside. And it will always be, I'm going to write add because you always add the sides together. So add the sides. And then I'm going to write label as the unit. So for instance, inches, feet, meters, just the unit itself, not the unit squared or the unit cubed like we will see in area and volume respectively, just the unit itself, inches, feet, or meters. So perimeter is always the length of the outside, you always add the sides, and you label as the unit itself, nothing squared or anything, okay? Let's look at example 2 here. It says find the length of decorative molding, so it's molding, so again that's the outside, needed to edge the top of the walls of a rectangular room that is 12 feet long and 8 feet wide. So again, I'm thinking about a rectangle, so I draw a picture of a rectangle. You don't have to draw the picture if you don't want. I am a visual learner, so I do. 12 feet by 8 feet is my rectangle. Again, I want the length of the decorative molding, so I'm looking for the perimeter of a rectangle, which I know is twice the width plus twice the length. I know that 12 is going to be my width, or it doesn't matter which one it is. 12 is going to be my length, and 8 is going to be my width. So I've identified my variables, I've written the formula, now I can plug it in. So the perimeter would be equal to 2 times the width, which was 8, plus 2 times the length, which was 12. Go ahead and plug that into your calculator. Let's see what you get. I'm getting formula, or 40, sorry. The perimeter is equal to 40, but then again, I need to look at my units. My units here were feet, so the answer would be 40 feet. Okay, always make sure you label your answers. Let's go on to example 3. It says, find the length of fencing needed to surround a square corral that measures 60 feet on each side. So I'm thinking of a square, I'm thinking all 4 sides are equal. So here I have 60 feet by 60 feet, right? So I can use the perimeter for a rectangle formula. That would work just fine. Or I could use the perimeter of this case of a square. How do you find the perimeter of the square? Well, it's 4 times the length of the side. And 60 feet is the length of the side. So I've identified my variable, I've written my formula, now I can just plug it in. The perimeter would be equal to 4 times 60. 4 times 60 is 240. Again, it's just the unit, so we have to have feet written here. So the final answer would be 240 feet. Let's look at example 4. Example 4 says, a homeowner plans to fence in the area around the swimming pool in the backyard. The area to be fenced is in a square measuring 247 feet on each side. How many feet of fencing should the homeowner purchase? Okay, so we have a square, and it's 247 feet on each side. Okay, we know that every single side of this square is equal, right? We know that the perimeter of a square, we're looking for the perimeter because we want the area to be fenced. A fence is the perimeter. We know it's 4 times the length of the side, right? 4 times the length of the side. And we've identified the length of the side as 247 feet. So we've written our formula. We've identified our variables. Now we plug it in. So perimeter would be 4 times 247. Go ahead and plug that into your calculator. Let's see what you get. I'm getting a total of 988. Remember, no naked answers. This is in terms of feet, so we need to label it as feet. 988 feet. Again, perimeter is always just the unit itself.